Welcome to Grind Industry Podcast. Well, me and my co-host Sean talk about personal and professional growth.
Grind it straight, grind it straight. Grow up, grind it straight.
Welcome back to the Grind Industry. Hey, Sean,
What's up?
how was your weekend, man?
It was a busy weekend.
What'd you do?
Father's Day weekend, so we celebrated family time. Got all the house chores done, typical grown man shit. There ain't really a lot of fun time anymore nowadays.
Yeah, but you got to make time for it, right?
Yeah, but
Is it important?
my fun is like the housework. Getting all the outdoor house chores done. That's fun for me nowadays.
That's that OCD shit, dude.
Yeah.
And fun for me is gripping it and ripping it in the car or something, like doing something stupid. Like,
Yeah.
you really find fun in sweeping and mopping? Like, that's really your ideal of
Not
fun?
necessarily sweeping and mopping, but more or less like the
Would you clean it?
and breaking. Cleaning the pool, that's 3 times a day on the weekends. So yeah, stuff like that. But besides the weekend, how have you been doing with business? How's everything been going?
Dude, we've been busy. I'm right now I'm in the midst of flipping 3 houses, and it seems like it's endless. But summertime is crazier than winter for us. But luckily I'm HVAC, so I'm busy in the winter too, you know what I mean, doing furnaces and whatnot. But it's crazy trying to mingle 3 houses together at the same exact deadline. You know what I mean? Like, because it's
Same
all the
deadline?
same. Oh yeah, they all need to be done at the same exact time, but yet I've got to split up my crew and I've got to make it happen.
Yep.
So I'm working nights, I'm working weekends because
That's what it
that's
takes.
what it calls for.
Yeah, that's what
you
you
know?
signed up for.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I guess that's what I signed up for. Yeah, I'll take that.
So so how many employees do you have right now?
I've got 5 employees, and it's rough trying to, I don't want to say babysit grown men, but it's hard trying to manage grown ass adults to get in gear and do what you need to get done. You know what I mean? Because they want to do what they want to do, but meanwhile, you've got deadlines and you've got plans and you've got to make money. So not everybody can work on the same project. They all need to be split and be doing different things.
Exactly.
That's what sucks about it sometimes. And you gotta have that firm hand on the tiller. You know what I mean?
So so talking about employees, what year did you open your business?
I opened my business in 2017, I believe.
So when you opened up in 2017, how long did you go out there and just grind on your own before you're able to hire anybody on or get any bit of help? Like how long,
Close to 5 years before I had
5
my
years?
first employee. Yeah. But see, I didn't understand how the business worked, right? I didn't understand that having employees would end up making me actually more money. I thought I was being greedy and that
keeping it all, but
I was just going to take all that money for myself. But what I didn't get was that having more employees brings on more money,
done.
and that in turn brings more money to me.
Yep.
Right? I didn't get that that's how it worked. To me, I thought it would be best if I did it all myself, just work night and day and brought in all the money myself. But I'm only one guy. I can only do so much stuff. But
Exactly.
when I've got 4 people doing everything and I'm still doing stuff, it kind of brings in a lot more,
Yep.
But what they don't tell you, your insurance prices raise, your workers' comp that you have to now get because you have employees. I mean, to do everything the right way,
It's so expensive.
especially in the state of New York, is crazy. I mean, it's fucking insane.
I always ask myself, small businesses, how do they even make it happen? With all the overhead, and then you got, like you said, the extra expenses, the insurances. It's
Well,
just
I mean, not only that, but just the business startup in itself for a business like mine, which is a contracting business, was insane. You got to buy a bunch of tools, trucks, trailers, everything. I mean, so my startup cost alone was probably close to, on the light side, I'd say close to $25,000.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just to start the business.
Yep.
So it's not easy to do so, but in the long run, it definitely pays itself off.
Yep.
Because, I mean, contracting it's a slowly dying field. There's very few and far between people that want to actually get out, get their hands dirty, and be
Do the
doing
quality
physical labor, and want to do exactly like you said, the quality work that I need done, because we take pride in our work,
Right.
in what we do. We don't just get in, get out. We take care of the customer. We go above and beyond for that customer. And yes, that means we spend a little bit of extra time with our customers and in the homes. But to me, having somebody in your house that you trust and that you can actually know is going to do the job 110% because we went that extra mile,
Yep.
that's what's important to us. Money will come eventually, but you only have one chance to make that first impression.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like growing up, your word is bond. You go off of that. Like your word means everything. I feel it's the same thing with our businesses nowadays. There is no chances. Like everything needs to be on point. Everything needs to be done the right way the first time.
one bad review will drown you, man.
Yeah.
One bad review, and people will just go to that 1 star.
Yep. The
They
smart
won't
people.
read
Yeah.
the 30,000 you had of 5 stars, but they're going to read that 1 star,
Yeah.
and they're going to say, "Oh no, I'm not going to go with that company," which is so crazy because I don't want to put a label on it by saying everybody runs into that Karen, because not everybody named Karen is a Karen, but let's just say everybody runs into that person that no matter what you do, you'll never
You can't
please them.
satisfy 'em, yeah.
They're always going to be pissy. They're
Yep.
always going to want that discount. They're always going to, and you can only do so much, which when it comes to reviews on the internet, that's what makes things so hard to create a business, because people are they don't go to the 5 star or the 4 star. They jump right to the 1 star and see what complaints people had about you.
Yep.
And even if you did everything you could do for this person and that one person just made a complaint, it can literally drown your business nowadays. It's insane. It makes things very, very hard.
Yep. With so se- so since owning a business, what has been the biggest surprise, like the biggest shocker to you, or what caught you off guard that you really didn't see coming with being a business owner?
I guess operating business in the state of New York and the price that comes with it was the greatest surprise for me. Because when doing things by yourself, the taxes are what they are,
Right.
but you're not paying workers' comp, and you're not your actual liability insurance is much less. But as soon as you start bringing on employees and you do everything legitly, man, those prices triple, quadruple, they just skyrocket. It's insane on how expensive things can get because New York wants their piece. And from my research, New York is the highest tax state in the country, higher than California. So from my understanding, California is at close to about 50% or 48%, and New York is at 54%. So 54% of every single thing you make
Yeah.
goes straight back to New York. How are you supposed to thrive? How are you supposed to feed other people's families plus yourself on that? And one thing that was really stressful for me when it became time to bring on employees was, now I have other people's lives responsible on
I know that feeling.
they're on my shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, what if I can't get them that work?
The groceries they need to buy for their family next
Everything.
week depends on
Pay
you.
for their car, their rent, their everything. Like, now all of that is on me. That's a huge stress to take on, and it took everything in me to not do that until my best friend said, "Hey, I really need work. Can I please come work for you?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized, okay, he's making me more money and I think I can afford this stuff. And that's when I started realizing that employees are actually a very big thing to add to a company. You'll never grow unless you add employees.
Right.
But still, the second you add them, those price tags start getting bigger, man.
All right.
They really do.
So obviously we would suggest, let's say you're adding employees and you obviously had to take on more workload. You had to be making more money, bringing in more money if you had more people on the team. Like at some point, not instantly, but you can start crunching those numbers that you're making on the new weeks coming up with the pay you're paying out now with the fees and insurances. Sometimes it might not be worth it, right? Like, it has to make sense.
There's weeks that my guys get paid and I don't make a cent.
Exactly.
I don't make a cent. I can't say I don't make a cent. I don't make enough to bring home.
Right.
I make enough to pay the
Business.
bills.
Exactly.
And now I'm bill broke, but my guys got paid. My bills got paid. So I'll be okay.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it goes, is you're going to have those ups and downs, especially in a business like mine that's contracting. You have those times where you have 3 houses to flip. And then you have the winter time where you have a furnace to install in 1 month.
That's why
You
take
need to
the good
save
with the
that
bad.
money
Yeah.
in the business so that you have the money in the bank for those ups and downs, and make sure that your guys are still willing to live. And yeah, I might not have a lot of money for Christmas that year, but you know what? My guys thrived, and that money will come back to me. I'm
That's what
fully stable on that.
own right there. That right there.
100%. You know, and that's one thing people need to understand, is it's very important that when you have those highs, stockpile that money,
Yeah, they need to know
because
that.
everything is going to come to an end, and you need to have something for when it does, you know.
And I feel like with that, some people, have it drilled in, early on opening a business. But I feel like with that, it really does take like the experience of being in business for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, seeing the flaws of either spending on stuff you shouldn't have been spending on, not saving for the slow months. Those are things like sometimes it takes people longer than others, but people that jump on quicker and they're ahead of the game, or they're listening to people like us and people that have been through certain situations, they can be ahead of the game even more.
Dude, I made every mistake you could possibly make when it came to starting a business. I got trapped into every single website that was like, "Oh, hey, we can give you leads, we can do this." And not only that, when I saw money coming in, I bought every shoe I wanted, every single toy I wanted. I went on every vacation. I spent every single cent I had, right? Because let's just be honest, I'm a pretty materialistic person, right? I don't really like to save money. Well, I used to. And I learned very quick that that's not what you're supposed to do with your money when you make a business, right? So you see a lot of money coming in and you see that big bank account and you're just like, "Oh, I'm going to go get everything and anything I've ever fucking wanted." No, because you're going to have that low. And when that low hits and you can't pay those bills, that's when the depression's going to set in. That's when everything's going to come crumbling down around you because you just weren't smart with your money. Now,
It's an each
I'll be honest with you. It took me several years to realize that, because I was fed pretty heavily when it came to business, right? Like I had a lot of
So it's coming in.
constant business.
Yeah.
So I was like, why? What am I saving for? I got a lot of business coming in. I got a lot of money coming in.
It's gonna be right back. It's
I'm
gonna be right
good.
back.
Exactly. And next thing you know,
It's gonna slow up.
winter hit, January and February hit, and I didn't have houses to flip, and I didn't have the money to pay the bills. You know what I mean? So you learn either the hard way, or you listen to us, like yourself, the easy way, and you learn to save that and stockpile that for when the time becomes harder. Because it's very easy to just blow that money as it comes in. It's hard to save it and not touch it, but you're going to be very, very happy when you do.
Right.
Trust me on that one.
So you said you own a contracting business.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So when you first opened up and you were making your investments, on your initial purchases to start the contracting business,
Mhm.
what was something that you bought that you sort of regretted that you really didn't put to use, or like, is there anything you could tell people, like something that you really don't need during, at the startup, that maybe you bought early on that you could have waited or something?
Um, Me, I did it in steps, right? So I bought myself a set of tools, and then I bought my employee a set of tools, and then I bought a van, and I did it in certain steps.
Like
So
levels, yeah.
yeah, so I didn't overspend myself when it came to putting money back into the business. Now, don't get me wrong, I was never afraid to put money back into the business, but I don't know that there was an actual tool that I ever regret, because everything I bought I knew that the job I bought it for was going to basically pay off that tool. Like, for example, I bought a generator. I bought this because we were on a job that had no power. And not only did we need that generator because it had no power, but another contractor needed it because it had no power. So I could actually rent this generator out to the company hiring that contractor, and I got my money back within a week for buying that generator. So no, I really don't have any regrets when it comes to tools or things that I've purchased. Now don't get me wrong, the bigger my business got, the more and more tools I bought. Like I basically own 3 of everything.
Yeah.
But that's really to set up for when I want to buy another van. And now I've already got all the tools to just load that van up
Yep,
and
right.
get it ready to go on the road, So the van is a big purchase that needs to be planned out. Whereas the tools I can buy when they're on sale or when there's deals at Home Depot. One of my favorite things to do is buy during holidays. Home Depot has deals on Milwaukee because I'm a Milwaukee guy.
Yep.
They where you buy this battery and you get this tool for free, or you buy this tool and you get these batteries for free. So I take advantage of those, even if I don't need them right then and there.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of those just to prep for when I do have
Saving yourself.
an extra van or whatever. And even if I'm going out in the field and the van's out in the field, I still need that second set of tools, So I try to prep for anything that could possibly come about, for sure.
So when day-to-day business, what would you say with hiring on family members?
Um, I'd say be very wary. It can work out well, right? Because it can it can go back and forth, and it could either be they take advantage of the fact that you're family and they don't work as hard as they should,
Yep.
or it could be your family and they want to support the family, so they work as hard as they possibly can.
And they don't want to let you
Right.
down.
So you've got that 50-50
I
coin
know.
flip. And not only that, but when things go bad, at least me personally, I am horrible at separating family and work, right? Like I can't separate that. So let's just say I work with my wife and she is on me all day about work. She could come home and we'd be fine. She'd be fine. I despise her and don't want to talk to her because
at home.
I can't. I of course bring it home. I'm not the type that can separate things.
I'm
So
way, yeah.
when it comes to hiring family, I would definitely say recognize who you are as a person and can you actually separate it? Because if you can't,
It really depends on the
don't do it.
individual. And we
You know what I mean?
know our family members enough. We already know off the rip if we would even let them around or not.
100%. But again, acknowledging who you are and knowing your flaws is a huge benefit when running a business because you need to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Because what you're not good at is what you should hire for, and what you're good at is what you should be doing. And even if that's something as simple as determining whether you can separate family between business, you should know that ahead of time. Otherwise, you're going to have a huge regret on your hands. And next thing you know, you're firing your wife, your kid. You're in a situation you don't want to be in.
Right.
That is the biggest problem with mixing business with family when it comes to me. Now, just look at the Tate brothers. They can mix family and business no problem, and they are kings at it. But that takes a special ability in my eyes. There's not a lot of people that can actually mix those two and have it be successful.
Right. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's definitely going good, man.
How's your business going?
It's going real good. Obviously it's summertime, so super busy.
That's good.
80 hours, 90 hours, however many hours. I don't even know.
I know. I text you at 2 a.m. and you're just like, hey, I'm already at the shop. And it's just like,
Yeah, it's been a huge blessing. I know that. I can't even begin to explain how appreciative I am. So that's a whole nother subject because it's a whole rabbit hole. How we feeling? We good?
we're good, dude.
Exhausted.
Yeah, I can tell, man. You've been working too hard. But you know what? Let me ask you this: when it comes to balancing business and family, where do you fall on that? How hard is that for you?
Super easy.
See, for me, it's hard as fuck, dude. If I want to focus on something, I give my 100% to that. I can't. It's very hard
Yeah, but
for
it's
me to
different
balance
industries,
that.
though.
It doesn't matter the industry to me. Look at it.
We're talking about balance.
Okay,
I
again-
can balance it different than you could.
How?
Cause let's just say, cause we own 2 different businesses. Let's say
Tell me how the business
I can
changes how to balance family and business.
well, this
Because
is
to
my
me, there's no difference.
theory because I get my work done while my kids are sleeping, so I can be there. Cause my kids are younger now. We're not in the same situation with that, so I can always like we're saying, balancing. I make it so I work all these crazy hours on these like weird hours, so I can always be home when the kids are home, when they're awake. When the kids are sleeping, that's when I'm grinding like the most, so I can be home. And I make it. I go in like 2 o'clock every morning, so I can be home by 4 p.m. when my daughter gets off the bus. That's like my main thing every day, because that's my last child that even rides a bus anymore. Because my kids are getting older, so I just make sure I'm home every day 4 o'clock. She gets off the bus, we hug, we hang out. It's just our little thing. So I try to. I mean, I put myself in wild positions to do it, but that's what I do on my balancing efforts.
Well, I'm in vacant homes. I could do the same exact thing, but I don't make that sacrifice. So let's just call me selfish here, and let's just be honest and state that I'm horrible at fucking balancing. I am a one-track mind type of person. Look at this, right? So I own a contracting business. We're starting a podcast together.
Yep.
That is my focus. And it's very hard for me to have those two things and still want to be home and take care of the things that I should take care of. Because if I'm out here grinding and making money, why do I need to be home watching movies with my family, right?
Yeah.
Like, in my head, that
I
doesn't
feel like I'm useless being home.
That's
I feel useless.
and that's why I'm here
I know.
as much or out in the field and doing things as much as I can, because I'm not helping my family by being
We're
there on the
helpful
couch
out
watching a movie. I'm more helpful out here.
That's our
But
job.
the wife is
I
like,
want
yo, I
to
want
this.
you to be here. I want to see you. And it's like, well, you'll see me when we're rich.
You know what I
and
call it?
we're on that yacht. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's when you'll see me. That's my mentality. Hers is, you're wasting our time right now. And I don't know that that's how she really feels, that we're wasting our time, but in my head, that's how it comes across.
Right.
Is right now you're putting work in front of me. And yeah, that might be true, because I am putting work in front of you, but that work is for our future. I'm working towards something so that we can have shit together
Yeah.
and fucking travel and do whatever the fuck we want, whenever the fuck we want. And if I don't grind now when I'm young, I'm not going to do it when I'm older. So I might as well do it while I can, so in my mentality, I don't ever sacrifice work for family. I sacrifice family for work. And in no way do I think that that's probably the right way to do things, but that's how I do things.
It's how stuff
You
works
know?
out sometimes.
Well, again, it's probably not best. There's probably a reason why there's so many business owners that have been divorced and fucking everything else, because they put their 100% in their business rather than to the female or to the family. You know what I mean?
Well, to
and
go back, not to cut you off.
no, you're good. Go ahead, brother.
To go back to the topic, what I was saying, let's be truthful with ourselves. We were talking about balance. And as I said that, all I was referring to was balancing out my time so I could be home to see my kids.
It sounds like you don't sleep.
Let's not forget, by me doing that, that means I'm leaving my wife in bed every single night without me, to sleep with her.
Right.
So,
And does that take a toll on your marriage?
that's what I'm saying. So, yeah,
But does it? That's my question to you.
not right now.
Does that start an argument between you two, or is she a very understanding person and get that you got to grind right?
Yeah, so she asked me the other day, she was messaging me and she asked me, she was like, because I either work overnight into the next day and don't sleep. That's like a day, that's what I'll do. Or I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and go clock in. So she said, is there going to be a day that you sleep in a full night or you just don't go in overnight? And I said, yes, let me check the schedule. And I said, in November.
How did that make
That's what it is.
how did that make her feel? Did she
She said,
what
"Oh,
was her
nice to
comeback?
know." So now we're
That's
on the
it?
same page. Yeah. Oh, nice to know.
She was cool with it.
Cool with it. You want to know why? Let me tell you why.
Because you got a fucking awesome wife. That's
No,
why.
because not only are we best friends, she knows all of my struggles and she knows I'm a detailer.
Right.
I need to get it all right now because once them winter months come, it's over.
Right.
It's over, you know?
You got to handle summer.
That right now is my only chance to secure everything for our family.
100%.
Once that wintertime comes, I'm fucked financially. I have to figure it out. Because, yeah, detailing's there every day, but it's not the same. It's not.
Yeah, you ain't got 3 cars lined up. You know,
You're not getting those paint corrections every day. So she knows what it is. And now, but it took us years to get to this point. It took us a few winters to be struggling for me to put in her head. Now you see what I was telling you in the summer.
did it cause arguments?
In the beginning, yes, but it
Yeah.
took us to get through that for her to see, like, oh, now I see, Sean. Now I see why you're doing this. Because she knows the winter's coming, you know?
Right.
3 kids, all this stuff we do. She knows.
Oh yeah.
So,
All that costs money, man.
yeah.
Everything costs money.
So we're
You know what
both
I mean?
growing together with our relationship and our businesses. So,
How about you? If you could say what was the biggest waste of money on your startup, what was yours? Did you waste money on anything?
paying people early on when I should have been staying by myself and thugging it out a little bit longer,
Yep.
and paying guys more than they're really worth.
Why? Because
Honestly.
you're just a generous person, or you were just trying to help them out? Well, I guess that goes in the same line of generous person. So
Yeah, honestly, I did it because they were a little bit younger than me. I really wanted to put them in a better position financially, for one. For two, I know it's not easy work what I do, so I really wanted to make sure they were getting compensated really what it's worth, so they would keep coming back every day and they would keep getting the work done at the quality that I asked for. So
All right.
I sort of did that to try to secure them for the future, you know, and it obviously is.
let me touch on that for a second. So, as a business owner, you always want to take care of your employees, right? You always want them to feel appreciated. You want to take care of them so that they're happy, right? But what they don't understand is all the money on the back end, whether it was all the tools you spent to start that business, the rent you pay for the building you're in, the insurances you have, the workers' comp, all of that, right? This is something that employees don't get. They all want to say that you're greedy and take it home because they see all the toys you buy and all the stuff you get, right? But they don't understand that not only on top of their monthly wage or hourly wage that they're getting, you're paying whatever the workers' comp is per hour, plus insurances, rent, electrical, Wi-Fi, supplies, everything. So
Everything.
all these owners that are out here like, oh, I really wanted to take care of my employees and that's why I went broke, is because you didn't understand business. Business is taking care of the business first, and employees aren't second, but they need to be second, if that makes sense,
Now,
right?
that was my biggest regret. That's
100%.
yeah.
Because it's very easy to say, oh, I did a $1,500 detail, so I'm going to pay you $1,000. But what they didn't get is that 8 hours cost you power, cost you rent, cost you insurance,
All that
cost
was-
you everything else. And now that cost added up to $800, and now you're at a loss.
Yeah.
It's very easy for employees to not understand the back end of business because they don't get it. They haven't been on the phone with the insurance companies. They didn't realize that you need 3 different insurances to have employees. They didn't realize that a rent and in electrical and everything costs money.
Yeah.
You know, all that needs to come into effect when it becomes a business, right? So you need to take into account the grand total and then see, okay, so for an hour, what I did for my business was, this is how much it cost me to operate for 1 hour,
Yep.
including employee costs. How much can I afford to pay this employee? I can afford you to pay this much. If you like it, you can take it. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. You can move on because I'll find somebody else. You know, that's not me being an asshole. It's just me trying to, I wouldn't say cut even, but being able to pay you, the business, and myself. Because I'm not in this to cut even.
Right.
I'm in this to make money too.
Yeah.
So
All the
same as you.
sacrifices.
There's no reason why I should go through all the stress of creating a business and have you make all the money just to pay the bills for the business and then me make nothing. That's not why we're here.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make millions off of one employee or two employees. I'm here to grow my business to 100 employees and then make $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, so it's so easy for people to see, oh, I want to be a business owner. I want to make my own hours. I want to do all of this, but they don't get the fact that it took us planning and calls and time and everything to get to where we're at.
Yeah.
We didn't just wake up some morning with a full paycheck and say, oh, we're going to do this now. This is not an overnight thing. This is a thought out, planned out business plan that took time. And that's I think the problem with a lot of today's youth and a lot of employees nowadays is that they don't appreciate the amount of work that actually went in to create a business, right? You don't get what it took for me to hire you. You don't understand that I had to be on the phone with ADP for 3 hours just to hire you. Like that's not what you don't get it,
They don't get it.
And to me, that's just, it's so easy to write everything off because you've never been there. It's the grass is greener scenario, right? I could look at your business and say, yo, his business is amazing. I wish I started that business. And you can look at my business and say, oh my God, look what he's got. His business is amazing. I wish I started his business. We all have our flaws. We all have things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be honest. We all have our stresses. But what separates the wolves from the sheep is how we deal with that stress.
Yeah.
We
Adapt and
will
overcome.
bite the heads off of anybody trying to take anything from us because that's what we're built to do. And we're not just going to follow in line, right? We're not just going to say, oh, okay, you said to do so. No, we're going to figure it out and we're going to fucking fight for what we do. And that's what makes us wolves.
Exactly.
But let's go startup cost. We already talked about it a little bit. Your startup cost for a mobile detailing.
Startup cost detailing.
Let's put a price on it. Dollar amount.
$1,500.
All right.
That's just,
Mine, we'll say about $2,500. When it comes to businesses, that's another thing people don't ever take into account is what is your overhead when it comes to starting a business, right? They don't think about that type of stuff. They say, oh, it'd be really nice to have a business doing this. Well, how much in materials, how much in marketing, how much in a storefront or brick and mortar, whatever you're trying to do, everybody needs to think everything out. And that's why a business plan to me is the most important thing ever that you could ever make. You need to think about the demographic you're going after. You need to think about who your clients are going to be. Are your clients in the area you're going for? That's boils down to your demographic. Material cost, rent. Are you going to need Wi-Fi? Are you going to need insurances? Are you going to have to pay Square once a month to just take credit cards? All that shit is crazy. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's different for every single business. And I think it's important for people to understand exactly what it takes to start that. You know what I mean?
So what do you have you guys on Monday through Friday schedule?
Yeah, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They're allowed overtime. And well, they're allowed overtime when we have it available. If we're only flipping one house, I don't allow overtime. Only because it's not in the budget for one, and for two, it's
at regular time.
Yeah, but I try to give my guys as much overtime as they are willing to give. And I got one guy that'll put in 10 hours if you give it to him. I got another guy that'll put in 6 every single week without fail. And then I got two that really don't care about overtime, which is fine. I don't ever penalize anybody for not coming in extra or doing that extra. You want to come in, do your job, give me my 40. I'm okay with that. I don't look down on you for not giving me extra, you know. But I will say, as a business owner, those that give me extra, I do kind of favor when it comes to raises, and they're the ones that went that extra mile for me.
Yeah.
They hit those deadlines. They made sure that I was making money.
Yep.
So as I would be lying if I said I didn't kind of look out for those guys a little bit more. Now, all my employees are family. They not legit family, but I treat them as family, and I love them all to death. They fight tooth and nail for me, and I wouldn't give them up for anything. But I also have those few that would literally go that extra mile. They would give me that shirt off their back. They would do anything for me I asked. And it didn't matter if their kids needed to go to soccer practice. If I said, hey, I really need you to stay late and finish this job because we got another one tomorrow, they'd be there. And I'm not counting out the others because I don't ever count anybody out. Would they show up? Sure. But the other ones show up non-stop. You know what I mean?
Yep. So what are some things you've had to deal with over the years with having employees with, let's say, them going through marital issues or them dealing with stuff outside of work? You know how it no matter what, it gets dragged into the work day. You're going to either have to hear it, you lose the guy for the day because of something he's dealing with outside of work. Like, how do you just how do you continue your day without letting it ruin your day?
Well, honestly, that's actually a really good question because the way I run my business is safety first. So I provide my guys with every bit of PPE and anything that they could ever need to be safe, dust extractors and anything they need to be mentally and physically safe on the job site. But second for my business is family. If your kid is sick, go home. Go take care of your kid. You don't have to call me and ask me. You need to call me and say, my kid is sick. I'm heading out. Cool. Done. As long as you let me know, I'm good with it. I have worked in many places before that were so profit driven and work driven that they didn't give a shit about your family, your kids, your anything. And I despised that. My family's number one. I still got to go home to them once I'm done with work, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, family is number one. You fighting with your wife and you want to go home and have a conversation with her while the kids are at school, you go do you, man. You're good. You want to come afterwards or you just had a bad day and you want to take the day, that's fine. Work will always be here and I can always kick back a deadline just a couple days, no problem. But if I'm that asshole that's like, no, you need to stay here and do this, I'm not going to get any productivity out of you.
Shitty work.
And I'm going to get shitty work.
Yep.
And you're just going to mope all fucking day. No. And again, it doesn't boil down to the work, right? For me, it's really down to the family. That's what's important, is that my guys know that if your family fucking needs you, you go. Plain and simple. I don't care about the work. Work can come second. It'll always be there. And if this client doesn't like our deadline change, well, then that's not our client. But you know what? I took care of my employees, which is the heart of my entire business. If I didn't have that, I'd be back to doing this all myself, which I'm willing to do. But I really enjoy having employees take care of things and allowing me to be on calls, which I guess I can't say I enjoy being on calls and doing emails and doing all that crap. But you know what? It also allows me to take a vacation and still make money. I hate being behind the computer and answering emails and phone calls. But if I didn't have employees, I couldn't take a vacation and still collect a paycheck, right? So there's pros and cons to it all.
Yep.
But in my business, the way I treat it is family is number one. Actually, I'll say number two because safety is number one. I don't ever want... Our rule as a business is if you're on a ladder, there's somebody at the bottom of that ladder watching you. 100%. If there is not anybody around you to watch you on that ladder, you do not get on that ladder. We go 110% for safety and EPA regulations and OSHA regulations, actually, not even EPA. But we just do everything by the book because I would feel horrible if somebody got hurt on my job. That's the last thing I would ever want,
Yeah.
you know. But that's actually a really good question because the way I handle business is very different from others, but I think my employees actually respect it a lot more than working anywhere else. And that's why my employees will always go to bat for me and they will do anything I ask because they know I'll climb on that ladder. They know I would never ask my employee to do something I wouldn't do myself, you know. And if my family needs me, guess who's leaving? Right here. This guy too. I would never want anybody to feel like they couldn't come to me and say, "Hey, my aunt just got in the hospital. Can I go?" Why are you asking? Go. Why have you not left yet? Is my question to you. You know, my one of my foreman, he came to me and he was like, "Hey, my grandmother just hit the hospital. Are you okay if I leave?" And my answer to him was, "Why the fuck are you calling me? You should have called me from the car and said, 'Hey, this is what's going on.'" Because that's what's important to me,
Right.
you know. But I don't know.
So with your upcoming schedule, how is it? How's everything looking for you guys?
We look busy,
How far do you
busy.
schedule out usually?
I try to schedule out about a good 2 months, but it's hard because my business doesn't allow for scheduling as easy as a lot of other businesses do. Um, you can schedule all you want and you can have things set up all you want, but
It's gonna be
there's always wrenches thrown in the mix. It never goes as planned. Whereas a business like yours, you can say, "Okay, I've scheduled this car, this car, this car."
deadline.
You can be a lot closer.
Yeah.
So, my business, there's always because let's just take a kitchen reno for instance. We rip down a wall and take down cabinets. Now we realize there's no insulation. There's exposed wires, and there's all these things that we need to take into effect to fix before we can close that wall back up properly. So it literally is the definition of opening a can of worms in my business. So you try your best to schedule as much as you can, but you can only do as much as you can. You have to expect things to change. And if you can't roll with the punches, then this isn't the business for you. You know. Um, but I think we talked about me quite a bit on this one. And I think on the next episode or possibly a previous episode, we talked about your business quite a bit.
Yep.
I'm not sure exactly the order this will go, but either way, we got you covered on I Spy Mobile Detailing, and my business name is Fixer Up Home Repair. But I guess Sean, why don't you just give us the outro and let's close this episode out.
Once again, wanted to thank you guys for tuning in to Grindustry, spending time listening to us once again. Like you guys know, all we're trying to do is feed knowledge and give you guys the blueprints to being successful in life. Don't be lazy. Don't put things off. If there's something you want to do, just go out and do it because you only get one chance. This is your one chance. So don't let up. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to Grindustry. I appreciate you guys sitting through, listening to the knowledge that we're trying to spit. All we're trying to do is pave the way for you guys to be successful. Like I always say, don't be lazy. Don't put things off. If there's something you want to do in life, do not put it off. Just jump on it because somebody else will before you. So with that being said, stay blessed and work hard.